My name is Laurel Sucsy, and I am a 2016 ArtsAccelerator grant recipient. I have been living and working in Memphis for a couple years, and I'm friends with a lot of the artists here. That's sort of how I stay connected to this, to the community, and in my field and everything, going to art shows. So it was through word of mouth, really, that I heard it from other artists that had applied and that knew that this new grant was emerging, and we're all very excited about it. So yeah, I heard it, I guess, through word of mouth. It's been great. It's been a real help and a boost financially in the studio to help me kind of get to purchase these supplies and to get started on this, on working on the larger work. It has also been hugely important in just a vote of confidence. Like, it's really, really helped just give me that little bit of little shove forward, give myself permission to try things that I wasn't sure would succeed or not. Mostly that is the having other people, peers, and the jury look at your work and have them, you know, recommend you for the grant. Really makes you feel like this is something this is a good idea. I should keep pursuing it. This is a smaller painting that part of the size of paintings that were a body of work that sort of launched off this whole exploration. And basically I'm working with smaller abstract shapes and the balance relationship that they have between physicality and color. So there's a relationship that builds between here, and this whole last year has been trying to figure out how to make larger paintings, which are on the scale of these two over here and the one behind me, which first started with building the supports. That's a process that starts over here, the wood stretchers and the linen, and then figuring out the best way to prime, the best way to stretch, and then to build, you know, a stack of them so I'm ready to go. And then the next process was streamlining my little paint table over there so that I could work really big and not lose focus trying to cross the room to get something or trying to find the right tool. So first, when I received the grant, I had an existing body of work. I have several existing bodies of work, but I had small, medium-sized paintings like this one, and I had about 10 of them, and I wanted to scale them up, not directly, but use that first body of work as a way of jumping up to a larger size, which would be this size. And so I used the grant money to purchase supplies and look around my studio and figure out the materials that I would maybe need in order to execute those larger paintings. So I bought linen and I bought wood to build the stretchers. So the first half of the process was getting the materials in the room, getting the supports built, and then living with them. I sort of had the larger size around to get used to the scale shift. So these ones I'm very comfortable with because I've been painting on for a while. I understand what a 20-inch by 16-inch painting is, and I needed to sort of build a new relationship with those. And so the first iteration of this process was to stretch the canvases, to build the frame and to stretch them. And surprisingly, I have been painting for quite a long time now, and that was new. I learned more even in that process. I had some technical challenges with the linen and with this glue that I was using, and so I switched glues and I switched processes a little bit. And so that was the first chunk of learning in here, was just the support, the beginning of like how to. And it was important to me to get it right, so I went back and I got what happened was that some of the linen was a little saggy, and so I had to re-stretch everything and work on getting it right. And then once I figured out the supports, then it was a matter of figuring out how to go mechanically from something that was smaller up to something that was larger. And that I'm still in that part of the process. So on the smaller paintings, I plan a lot less because I can make a move and then change a move. On the bigger paintings, that is a real challenge because there's a lot more materials involved and it leaves a trace that is harder to cover up. So I plan in these paintings in a way that I don't plan in the smaller paintings. So building those steps of logic into the paintings has been the new process for me. I have 2 small kids, and their needs are incessant, like most children, and so I have been trying to balance that for a while now, and the grant really helped set that as a priority, as something that I needed to do, like a structure that I had to put into the studio in order to make it possible for me to get to my work. And so having a babysitter on a schedule, I now have an appointment with someone else who's depending on this work, and I mean, it's really been great. And my kids have eased into it, which make it work for me even more. It has been as much of a help with the funds to help pay the babysitter as it has been the psychological push to make that a priority. I mean, I think it's a really young grant, and so it's still in formation, and it's been great to be part of it, because there's been a lot. The ArtsMemphis has been open to receiving feedback from artists and holding these workshops and really trying to keep the lines of communication open. As the grant changes, as it grows, it's been helpful to see it shift and morph with the year to year. And you know, I have applied to it 3 times, so it has helped me to learn what exactly the grant is for, how exactly it would best serve me, and to keep trying at it. My proposals have shifted every year, and I've really worked on writing them and being as clear as possible. And in the process of having to write my thoughts down in that particular way has clarified things for me in the studio as well.